Chafing Armor Podcast special mini episodes, Descent into the Demon Webs, Part 4, Tunnels of Doom. Welcome back to the Chafing Armor Podcast. I'm your demonic dungeon master, Michael Corley, and with me tonight is James. James, tell me who you will be playing.
Hello, everyone. My name is James, and I will be playing Gan, the spell scale paladin / warlock.
Absolutely. And also tonight we have Riley. Riley, tell us who you will be playing.
Hi, I'm Riley, and I'm playing Elenora Dawn, your favorite Eldrin summer monk.
Beautiful. And also with us tonight is Dare. Dare, tell us who you will be playing.
Greetings, everyone. I am Dare, and I am playing Gronk of Grumpsh, your favorite half-orc, half-troll monstrosity cleric.
Absolutely. And last but definitely not least, because his character is the whole reason this is happening, is Lee. Lee, tell us who you will be playing.
G'day everybody, my name is Lee and I'll be playing Corvus Dragonchoked, the one to blame for all of this.
And just a quick note, Izzy sends her regards to everyone. Her work schedule as far as school prevented her from being part of this mini episode. They will be returning for the next full season of Chafing Armor. When we last left our players for Descent into the Demon Webs, they had met at a small inn at the small town of Ember Falls. There they found out there were strange, mutated doppelgangers who had murderous intent. Because they are all powerful creatures and players, they were able to defeat them, even one that seemed to be some kind of bizarre hybrid between a beholder and a doppelganger. After this defeat, they all met and found that they had been gathered here by Corvus Dragonchoked for one accord. They had been gathered to kill Loth, the Spider Queen. And I would like very briefly for each of you to go around and reintroduce your character's name and tell us why they would be willing to go on this suicide mission. I'll go in the same order. Riley, would you go first?
Hi, I'm Riley, and I'm playing Elenora Dawn, like I said. She is an Eldrin summer monk, and she decided to join the quest to avenge her queen and her people. Loth and her cults had sent a blight against them as they were trying to drive them out of their lands and completely wiped out everything they held dear. And the few of them that survived vowed to fight Loth to the very end. And she is one of the few remaining and intends to keep her end of that pact to bring the end of Loth, who destroyed the end of her.
I love it. Thank you so much. And also, James, tell us why Gan would go on this terrifying mission.
Well, Gan was once part of a drow community, even though he was a spell scale. There were many other like him in his community, and the community decided that sacrificing the spell scales to Loth was the best course of action for good luck or what have you. And Gan spent his days slaving away and watching his compatriots being sacrificed one by one for a long time. So when he had his chance to escape, and he did, partially being saved by one Petenchalice, a fellow spell scale, although of a different color, he vowed to train himself in order to free whoever he could and to take vengeance against Loth, and then made some unseemly pacts with certain higher powers to add to his strength. And when this opportunity came along to go directly at Loth, he took it immediately.
I love it. And Gronk of Grumpsh, tell us, Dare, why he would be willing to go on this mission.
Gronk has a burning rage in him because slavers directed by Loth wiped out his tribe and kidnapped him when he was so little that he didn't even know his name. and Gronk of Grumpsh means tribeless of Grumpsh. He grew up not knowing his name and was rescued by paladins of St. Cuthbert from the slave pens and was raised as an avenging fist and has been directed by Grumpsh to go the extra distance to wipe out the Spider Queen.
I love it. And definitely intricately connected to this entire thing. One might say the catalyst for this mini episodes is Corvus. Lee, tell us why Corvus would agree to go on this horrifying mission.
Corvus, the Spider Queen, Loth herself, has had a lot of impact on this on the entire previous campaign. The whole death of Osakai, we're fairly sure was linked to her in some respect, in some way or another. Other cults involved, specifically tied to her as well. But also, I guess kind of as a favor or directive, not so directive of the Raven Queen. He was tricked, but not tricked. There's nothing left for him, and this may as well just be his final, I guess, blaze of glory / comeuppance for his stupidity.
I love it. I love it. And you sent out the 4 kobolds that had become sort of your vassals or squires, however you want to put it. And each of them had delivered to 4 different people, one of which never returned, a little tiny treasure chest. Inside was a coin and a vial of poison. And the note said, take the coin and join on this quest, or take the poison and end it all now. And all of you chose the coin, and you all set your coin down at the table of the Horse Siren Inn. And you are now part of a magical gaze where you can either succeed in this quest or die in the attempt. And that is where we ended last time, and you heard a deep rumbling coming from the tunnels down below. And that is when the proprietor of the Horse Siren Inn comes up. Her name is Jane O'Malley. She is a attractive young woman with, or middle-aged woman, but very, very attractive, hair done up, for practicality, a towel over her shoulder. And she looks over to you, Gronk, and says, so how's that meat?
How's the what?
The meat, the whatever had my cook make, which was a huge hunk of doppelganger meat.
It satisfies.
She kind of wrinkles her nose at it, though the truth is it actually, because of your succeeded roll, actually is pretty good. It could have been desperately poisonous and awful, but it was actually good. And that's when she leans forward to all of you and says, if I may, could I speak with all of you in my office?
Gronk just kind of grunts and starts walking towards the end.
Okay. Anyone else have any objections or anything?
No.
Okay. You make your way to back. Some of you had briefly gone into the kitchens, and you make your way back, and there is a relatively small, but a office type area. You can tell that this is also essentially part of her living space, based on the ladder going up into the ceiling and a little trapdoor. You suspect that's where she sleeps. But this is like part living room, part office, and there is like a desk where you can see like sums and collections, and there's even like, a small stack of gold sitting there. And she gestures for you all to sit, and there really isn't like good places to sit. There's like kind of like a stool here and a couch here. but it's not really designed for this. But she offers for all of you to sit down. And she says, we need to talk.
Gronk comes in and stands to one side as everybody files in, and then just kind of stands with arms crossed in the doorway.
Okay. And you take up most of the doorway, I believe.
Quite easily. Quite easily.
A very big guy. Does anyone have any other sitting arrangements? Not that I'm about to sneak attack you or anything.
No, just
Everything's a mimic.
take something that my armor is not going to mess up, a stool or something.
Okay. This is like, but it holds. This is good sturdy oak. And Jane leans into all of you, and she says, about a century ago, there was bad times in Ember Falls. There was attacks, disappearances, people vanishing in the night, always the night. And that's when we realized that there was essentially a shortcut to the Underdark right underneath our village.
Really?
And there was talk of leaving, of course, simply abandoning. There are worse things. Certainly, we cannot stand against the forces of the Drow and the things that come out.
No, you cannot.
And though it pains me to say it, I made a deal with Loth.
What?
And she actually kind of blanches and sits back a little bit when you say that, because she sees the look on your face. And she says, it was not of my desire, it was not of my design. And she kind of puts back her brushes back her hair nervously, and that's when you're reminded that she is a full-blooded elf. And that a century ago might not be so very long for her. And she says, we came to an agreement through one of her emissaries. The agreement, first of all, was that her people would leave this village alone. That none of us would go missing, none of us would come to harm. Nothing. No one. At all. That was the deal. But there was another side to it. And then you can probably guess. And that was that we did not interfere with any of their doing. So if they exited, if we happened to catch a glimpse of a drow assassin leaving in the night, if some thing from the Underdark came slithering out of the tunnels, we were to do nothing. And I want you to know that this was not an easy choice for any of us. And I am the only one who is still alive from that time. And the burden falls upon me solely. And when I die, technically the arrangement will break. However, and this is where the anger comes into her voice, the arrangement has already been broken because you've seen what has happened tonight. Has been happening for several nights recently. So either something outside of Loth's influence, or Loth has just broken her promise, which, as far as I know, she can do. If she chooses, she's a god. And I'm just an elf. I want to give you something. And she reaches into her pocket and she pulls out a scroll that is crumbling with age. It is very delicate. Does anyone take it?
I'll take a look at
Corvus takes it.
it. No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
You take 3d6. No, I'm just kidding.
Corvus has
It
delicate
is
hands, let's be honest.
That's true.
He
plays with
is
locks.
either the or one of the most dexterous. So yes, he is. And you have the skill of reading scrolls, don't you? Using magical devices.
Yes.
Yeah. This scroll does, even without it, for those of you who can detect, there is a faint magic to the scroll, but it is less like a lightning bolt spell and just general enchantment. It is a map, and it is a map leading down into the Underdark. And the map gets increasingly abstract as you get further down, but it is a general path that leads not just from the Underdark, but to the demon webs themselves. Now, again, it gets very vague and, here be dragons type of routes, but it does tell you the general route that you would take from the Underdark, which is pretty detailed, to pass through the planar places that you would need to get there. And she says, I am putting myself at tremendous risk, because even though this deal has been broken, it's not up to me to decide if the deal has been broken. It's up to Loth. And
Corvus raises a finger and sort of leans into her and says, just leave it on the table and walk away. We stole it. And then he just sits back down.
And then Gronk leans just slightly forward and goes, if it is a trap, I'm sure you'll make a good roast as well.
make an intimidate check.
That is... that's a 26.
Okay. She pales visibly. She is one of those many people, much like Scald from before, and many, many others, who was an adventurer in her younger years and found it much more sensible to take up being an innkeeper as opposed to constantly almost dying. And so she is not a wuss, but Gronk of Grumsh is terrifying. And she takes a step back and she says, I just want it to stop. I saw what happened a century ago, and I don't want it to happen again. And especially after tonight, when we lost two, though I've known both of those employees since they were born, and I don't want to lose any more. And at that moment, there's the door isn't quite closed all the way because Gromsh, you're taking up all of the room, and behind you, Gromsh, you turn to see Eolith Honeymead, the bartender, and she says, "Is there anything else before I go home?"
Corvus inclines his head. You could always just walk away.
Okay. And she literally does the 3 steps back.
No, not to her, to the owner, the barkeep.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
You could go with her and check the bar, maybe. I'm trying to give her an out.
Yeah, I got you.
Her feel she hasn't broken the contract.
She picks up what you're putting down and goes, "Yeah, yes. I need to help you close, Eolith. Let's get going."
Lady, I want you to understand something. That's the only thing you could have possibly done, is to protect your town. Even one of those assassins from the Underdark could have slain everyone in town without them even waking up. So I don't want you to feel like you've betrayed anyone by making this pact. It's probably the best thing you could have done.
There is nothing that you could have said that she needed to hear more right then, and maybe someone has told her that in the past, but certainly not someone from the Underdark. And looking into your eyes, she sees the truth of it, of the horror that you have lived, your lived experience of being a slave in the Underdark. And she knows just how horrible things are down there, but she doesn't really know. But you do. And you just see this come off her and I want you to take 1 inspiration point, Gon.
Cool.
Because of that, because of what you just did. Because that was an extremely heroic thing to do at that moment. And
As she's leaving, getting ready to leave the room, as she's walking out the door, Gronk leans over and goes, "But everybody makes choices." Just kind of growls at her because he doesn't agree with Gan. But
I agree. There is no right or wrong answer to this, and you can absolutely disagree with it.
Once she's out the door, Corvus takes a sheet of paper or sheet of parchment and hurriedly scrambles down a quick copy of the map. Just as a secondary copy. He takes them both, but since this one is incredibly old, it'd be nice to have one that's not going to fall apart. So he kind of.
So
does
there was
that.
a time. There was a time when someone could perfectly copy things.
I'll roll. I'll
rub it in.
You got it. I would like you to make that roll for me,
because I can't do it anymore, but I'll roll if I have to. Okay. Could we call this a gather information roll?
But I will allow you to use that one.
I will not question it. That's 16 on the die plus 10, so 26.
26. Okay. You do think that you've made a reasonably good recreation of it. I mean, obviously you could look at the two, but there's if one was destroyed, you wouldn't be quite so sure. But you're pretty sure you've done a good job, and you've had several years now to train your mind to recall things without the innate Kinku ability.
He then
so
slips,
you do have that.
He then slips the original map into Mimi.
Mimi. Y'all all hear a sound, and there's a moment when 2 literal button eyes peek up from his backpack as he strokes the top, and it opens up and
what
swallows
in the hell is that?
This is Mimi. She is a baby mimic.
I didn't know mimics had babies.
Neither did I.
And all of you are experienced adventurers. Some of you may have even fought mimics before. You have never heard of anything like this. There is no lore that comes to mind when you do this. I just realized I forgot to pull my dice now. Come here, dice. So I would like someone to roll a 1d4. Elenora, Riley, please roll a 1d4 and tell me what you get.
I got a 3.
2. You got a 3.
Yep.
1, 2, 3. Okay. So, as you all are connoitering and getting ready, making any plans that you have, there is another knock at the door, even though the door is not closed all the way. And all of you recognize one of the 3. There is a band of adventurers waiting outside, ready for adventure.
Oy.
And they are all kobolds. And that's when you see Nos, the fighter, Sux, the warlock, and Kerr, the rogue with 4 tails. Jim is missing, the bard. Jim went off to find the 4th companion and never returned. And they do not know what has happened to them. But they are all ready. They look very different than the ones that y'all saw as your other players, as in the last 2 years, Corvus has had access to gold and weapons and items that most people never dream of. Now, they are not like OP, but they are all fitted in good-fitting leather and chainmail and cloth armor, and they all have like decent, possibly even slightly magical weapons. Nos looks up with his eye patch eye and just slightly pulls out his short sword and says, "We're ready to go, boss," to you, Corvus.
Corvus sort of inclines his head and says, "Well done. Well done."
You're bringing puppets with you?
No. They're road snacks.
Looks delicious.
Sucks the warlock and looks over it and says, "Don't make me make Mimi eat you." And you hear, "Mimi."
Corvus chuckles. She's not kidding.
And then, like, for just out of nowhere, just very deep, you hear, "Mimi."
Mimi's hit puberty. Corvus just kind of looks, sort of winks at the kobold that spoke, and turns to them and says, "Mimi's eaten a giant crab whole."
Sounds like a good appetite.
I think she could probably out-eat you.
Huh. I haven't met the creature yet that can.
You have now. He turns back to the kobolds and says, "Scout ahead." He hands them the paper map. Memorize as much as you can. Give it back.
Nos looks at it for a moment sagely and then hands it over to Sucks because he cannot read. But Sucks can read a little bit. Kerr can read a little bit.
I admire his dedication.
Yes. Well, he wants to look like the leader. And he studies it very carefully for a moment, then hands it over to Sucks. And he says, "Kerr, are you ready?" And Kerr says, "Yes," and goes, "Smoke bomb!" He throws down a smoke bomb, and they all disappear. And yes, you do all see all three of them running out
away.
the back door. Yeah. You'll all see them disappear out the back door. You even hear the creak as the door opens and they head out. And they are heading towards that, giant pit that was created when the creature emerged. And now I want to be very clear, there is no railroading by your dungeon master. What do y'all want to do now?
Do you all remember that word I gave you?
Probably should say it again.
Elestria. Elestria.
Turning towards the only one who actually said the word Gronk. I'm going to say I wasn't expecting you to remember for some reason, but well done. Yes. Elestrae.
I left my notes somewhere.
You must remember this word. This is imperative.
What does it mean? He says in his most sarcastic.
For you, it means not dying. That's all you need to know. There is a cold look in his eyes as he says it. He's not messing around. Memorize this word.
Gan looks a little bit uncomfortable.
Does anyone have anything else they need to do before we literally jump into hell?
I think we put this off long enough.
No one needs to go pee. It's a long trip to there. We're not stopping on the way on. Anybody fights, I'm turning the car around and we're going back home. No Disneyland for you.
You've already brought us snacks. We might as well go.
You are not eating the kobolds, so get your other snacks if you need them. He tosses Gronk a bag of coins with like 10 platinum in them. Get as many snacks as you need, but you're not eating the kobolds.
Fair trade. Fair trade.
Now Corvus is definitely broke. Corvus has no money left. None at all.
That little scroll that you found where you weren't expecting it had the location of a buried treasure chest. It was a magical scroll, so it had way more information than it should have. And that chest was filled with platinum, and you have spent most of that over the last few years getting ready for this moment.
All the bounties, all the relics and artifacts, and all the stuff from all of the delves, all of the death, all of it poured into one big project that you will all find out about eventually. But we are now broke. Well, Corvus is broke.
Well, you can't take it with you, as they say.
That was kind of the plan. Gronk got my last 100 platinum.
That's a lot of snacks.
Because I feel like he's going to need a lot of snacks.
He'll eat whatever he can along the way.
Try and stay away from the mushrooms.
He's not picky about his meat.
We've noticed. Just keep platinum as long as you can have that. Just don't eat the kobolds. We're already down 1.
Did you already eat it? How did it taste?
I didn't eat it. Something else probably did. It was meant to bring another one of you.
You don't mean him specifically, I hope. Although 2 of them probably would come in handy.
Perhaps we will find them along the way, but we literally do not have any more time left to waste. Shall we go?
Immediately. Gronk goes through the kitchen and picks up the rest of the meat and wraps it in an oiled paper or waxed paper or whatever they have for transporting food, and stuffs the slab of meat in his backpack and grabs a bottle of ale as well.
Absolutely. No one stops you, as you would imagine. The cook and like one other like staff member is back there, and they don't do crap to y'all or say anything. Least of which because you're so powerful, but also they saw you talking to Jane O'Malley, so they have nothing to say to you and let you pass however you please.
Gan turns to Corvus. It is
full night when you walk out, just so you know, and the pit is not far away.
Off we go.
Gan turns to Corvus. Do you trust these kobolds to actually scout worth anything?
I met them in a hole 3 years ago, and they're still here. They're kobolds.
Good enough.
He nods. Any questions before we go? Not that it matters. You can't back out now. The Gaius will kill you.
So inviting.
Says the Ice Queen. Let's go, shall we? And Corvus just stalks off to the edge of the pit and steps in.
Okay.
Is this a straight...
You'll just see him... Whoop.
Is this a straight down kind of thing?
There's like a slight like incline sliding down, and then there is like a boom, drop off.
Okay.
Now you came out of that, Corvus, but y'all cannot. Obviously, if you have dark vision, you can see some of the way in, but it is does appear to be a bit of a drop down.
All right.
So I would love to hear how each of you are getting down.
Well, Gan just kind of lifts up a few inches off the ground and just sort of floats his way in.
Okay. And there's just this moment where you can see this just muscular figure like a descending angel from heaven just coming down. What about the rest of you?
Elenora pulls out her cat o' nine tails and jumps down, ready for anything.
Okay. Do you have anything to like mitigate a fall, or?
You said it didn't look very far, right? Or did it look?
It doesn't look super far, but it's
Okay.
still a drop in the dark.
She's a monk.
Yeah, she's also a monk. Yeah, I'm not even gonna make a roll. I just want to hear how. I want to hear how you land.
Is it more
As long as she's near a wall, she'll be fine.
Yeah.
She leaps down closer to the wall, and as she sees her descent, she grips the wall and slowly vaults herself down, bit by bit.
Okay.
Grumsh just gets big and just steps down.
No, he doesn't do that, but he does just rock climb down, punching his big gnarly hands into clefts in the wall and just with quite deftly rock climbs down.
Okay.
So
and I'm not
we've
even... normally I'd make you roll for that.
We've got a wall slider. We've got Sephiroth. And we've got Knuckles the Hedgehog, who just punches his fist to climb down.
Pretty much.
Corvus has to turn into a bird.
Yep.
Which he does before, gliding to the bottom of the pit.
So at the bottom of this pit, first of all, there is just refuse, because this was... what was up there was a lie pit, which is they would throw their garbage and like discarded meat bits that were unusable, skeletons, things like that, from the inn and also from town. So there's just garbage down here.
Well, no wonder
so it doesn't smell.
No wonder the drow kept coming up and murdering them. They'd literally treated them as a garbage dump.
Yeah. Well, you suspect that the actual entrance was somewhere. Well, obviously, this creature burst up through. So it's not like it was dropping into this area. It's just when the creature burst through, a lot of that fell down into this area. And so it's kind of like that scene in Goonies when they think they found treasure and it's just a wishing well bottom. Except instead of, delightful coins, it's crap. So,
There's
as
a
the
boomer ass
moonlight
reference for you people.
Yeah, no kid. Hey, Gen Xer reference.
Right?
Thank you. Also, I didn't see that.
How old are Gen Xers? How old are they?
I am 49. I'll have you know. I haven't.
So more
quite
than
hit
half my
50
age.
yet.
Wretched child. Wretched child. You need to
Zoomer
stop.
speaks.
Wow.
Yeah. No, I did not see that movie when I was a kid. I didn't see it until I was an adult. I just missed it altogether.
The older millennial has seen that movie. Don't worry about it.
Just keep in mind that any Gen Xer takes great insult in being called a boomer. So just say no.
It's
Seriously.
true. We do. We really, really do.
Yeah, 10 more years, though, and it'll still apply.
Hey now.
It's true. So you find yourself in a cavern. It is not vast, but there are several branching areas that lead off into different areas. This is sort of a central area. There are actual, very minor drow artifacts here. Nothing major, but there are some wall sconces, technically where you would normally put a torch, but you think these are maybe used for something else, like maybe for holding chains or something like that, since the drow don't have a lot of use for torches. But you can tell that, especially you, Gan, that this is a place that has been used by the drow in the past, and perhaps not that long ago.
Corvus,
but there
Corvus rolls a spot check looking for markings left by the kobolds.
Okay. Give me that roll.
Ooh. Oh, wait. I missed that. That's not as good as I thought it was. What's my spot? Ugh. 19?
19. So not quite as good as you might have hoped, but you can, with a 19, you could definitely tell that they went down a very particular hallway. This hallway is definitely leading downwards. There is something on the walls. You're not quite sure what. You had been exploring a different one of these the last time you were down here, Corvus. Obviously, you came up through here following this creature back when you were exploring, when you heard this enormous ruckus. But there is definitely something on the walls, and it is definitely leading downwards.
Corvus indicates that particular tunnel. Kobolds went this way, but if you want to take a chance, I came through the other tunnel, so there's one more tunnel left. I'm staying here, but you could try your luck down the other one.
Is there any kind of track movement or track noticing in any of the tunnels?
Give me a roll. A spot check or an or gather information. Well, no, not gather information. That's doing detective crap. Spot check.
11.
11. You're not sure. In honesty to you, a lot of tracks that you might have made have been disrupted by the fact that there was a massive cave-in here, and a lot of things have been disrupted.
Right.
All you can really tell is when you get right up to the edge of the, where the different ones start, and you can tell that there has been movement in all of them, but exactly what, it's impossible to tell.
The light from all the glowing purple cockroaches is very difficult to spot tracks. Because underdark is purple.
I will. I'll follow the indicators by the kobolds.
Okay. May I have a marching order?
Corvus will take scout because it's what he does.
Gronk will be second in line.
Okay.
Elenora will be next.
I guess I'll be taking the rear then. It's fine.
Okay.
Gronka's Vanguard is a pretty good call.
I am curious, Gan. Did you ever swear to yourself or say anything to the effect of, I will never come back down here again?
Oh, no. He absolutely had every plan to come back down here because he knew that probably going through the Underdark would be the way to get to Lalt, so...
I love it. Just curious. So you make your way down. It is getting progressively cooler as you make your way down this tunnel. This is a made tunnel. This is not a natural tunnel. This has clearly been crafted. Gan, you're really not sure if this is made by the Drow, but the reason you're not sure is because usually the Drow use slaves. And you don't know if this was made by the dark dwarves from the Underdark or one of the slave races employed by the Drow. But it is
worm.
It could have been made by a giant purple worm, though those have tend to have a specific look to them. But this is a made tunnel that is going deeper and deeper down. You are not in the Underdark yet, though very clearly, as I said, this whole area essentially is a shortcut to the Underdark.
Right.
And that the access here, it's almost like we always say around Halloween, where the walls are thin, and the way to it is similar or closer.
So
and
I need to make this clear now too. Corvus has trap finding, so even if he's not actively searching for traps, if there is a trap in the vicinity of his location, he is aware that there is a trap.
Okay. So without making a roll?
No, it just means that if there is a trap in the area, basically, I am alert to being able to go looking for it. Like okay. Corvus is like, something's wrong here. There might be a trap here, and I have to search for it. So it's not like I can just blunder into one, essentially.
Mm-hmm. So I would like you going through this Underdark to.
This is why I told you that, because this is the Underdark. There's going to be lots of traps from the Drow, and Corvus, by virtue of being what he is now, has a unique sixth sense for them. Alright, so... Ooh! That is a 22.
22. That is almost not good enough. You did need to get at least a 20. Because it is not... One, it is not a traditional trap. Like, it is not like something that someone put in place to trap you. Whether or not it was encouraged or not, you don't know. And it is hidden in cracks. so it is not like a pressure plate or something like that. But your finger, as you're making your way around, you've come to where you like put your hand out so you can feel like the air currents. So if there's like a hidden place where arrows are going to come flying out, you almost touch the side of the wall, and there is just a very slight crack, and you realize that there's just something not right with that mold right inside that crack, and your mind just flares. Your trap sense just flares when you almost touch it. It's like a quarter of an inch. You almost touch that mold.
His hand shoots back away from the mold and just sort of taking out a piece of chalk, draws a very, very obvious do not touch symbol on the wall, and hopes at least one of the members back there recognizes it as, don't touch here, and kind of continues on, still searching, still being hyper aware and also looking for markings by the kobolds.
Okay.
As we go forward.
One note to the DM about my character, just so you know, one of his invocations is Devil's Sight, which gives him 120 feet of dark vision, which can also see through magical darkness. FYI.
That is very good information. So perhaps it is you, Gan, because the truth is, well, I'm going to make a quick roll here just on the outside chance. Yeah, not even close. That all of you are attacked by the kobolds. All three of the kobolds come flying at you. And I do need you to roll for initiative. But like I want to be very, very clear. Like, the kobolds are not going to win in a combat against all of you. So this is about what you're going to do about this, because it matters what you do about this. All three are coming at you. Let's say that their eyes are very dilated.
Oh, they're high. Okay.
They are not in a normal mental state, shall we say. But I would like everyone to roll for initiative now. I'm going to do a group roll for them. Terrible. For the kobolds. They get a 12 total. So what did you get, Elenora?
I got that was not high. That is a 12 for initiative.
Okay, I'm going to assume that your dexterity is higher than theirs, so you'll for them.
Dex is higher.
Yeah. I think we can say. But speaking of higher, Gan?
He got a 15.
15? Okay.
Yes.
Higher, but not that high. And Gronk?
11.
Wow. Those are super low rolls. And also our super bad at initiative, Corvus.
Oh yeah, this is terrible. Would you believe 16?
What?
16. Wow, you all rolled really low. That's incredible.
-5 or something?
That was awful.
Yeah, I mean, your initiative is so high.
My initiative isn't actually that high. It's 9. So it's just my dice tend to roll high, but this time they did not.
Okay, so what you do now is going to be very important, because one, like what you're going to do about them, how you're going to subdue them, what happens in this moment is important. That's what I'm making clear, because obviously I'm not putting these creatures forward as a threat to you. Corvus, you go first. All three of them are coming at you. They clearly do not recognize you, and they are clearly attacking.
Corvus just calmly takes out a club and bonks all three of them on the head.
Boop, boop.
Okay, so I assume you are trying to do non-lethal damage?
Yep. I do take
Okay.
a penalty for that, but not much. Okay. I just realized I had improved initiative and was like, did I put that on the sheet? Yes, I did. Long ago. Okay. First attack is on Kerr. Why not? That'll do. I have 3 attacks per round, by the way.
Okay.
That's a 28.
That will hit. We're going to go ahead and go in order, and that would be the leader,
Okay.
the fighter, the toughest of them. Nos, sorry.
So that's 8 points of non-lethal damage.
Okay. That is not enough to knock him unconscious. It definitely, like, bong, like hits him. To
Stun
the
will
side.
do too.
What do you-
Anything that just keeps them from, getting a hit in.
So are you going to try to hit him again, or are you going to do someone else?
Well, I don't have cleave, so I can't hit anybody else. So, I'd have to disengage to do a different target, which I can't do. I'm just going to hit him again.
Okay.
19 plus 8, so
27.
27.
27. That will definitely hit.
Oh, wait. Yeah, 25, sorry, because I take a...
That will still hit.
Another 7 points of non-lethal damage.
Okay, that will knock him unconscious. Boom! And he crumples to the ground. They are all level 5 now. They've progressed from level 2 when you first encountered
I
them.
should
in
hope
the
so after
original
3
campaign.
years.
Yeah.
2
Well,
years, I should say.
they've done quite a bit, but yeah. So you have knocked him unconscious. That was your.
Yeah, and I, if that's the case, I can't. I forego my 3rd hit, and that's my turn.
Okay, so that will bring it to Gan. There is
All right.
the warlock.
Corvus will call out, knock them out if possible. They are high.
Been there.
The warlock and the rogue.
Okay.
Sucks and Kerr.
I'll go warlock to warlock. I'm just gonna punch. I'll just punch him because anything else I do will probably cut him in half.
I don't think you could do non-lethal damage with your lightsaber.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
It's a nat 20.
So I'm not going to make you roll. You were auto knocking this warlock out, but I would like you to describe what it looks like when you punch a nat 20 with this warlock kobold coming at you.
As he's jumping toward us, I'll just kind of grab him by the scruff of his, whatever he's wearing in his chest, hold him up and just conk him on the head and drop him.
Okay.
I believe Sucks
like
is
that.
a her.
You're right. Sucks is a her.
Sorry.
Yes. That's okay. And not the all look alike, but it is a little hard to tell the gender of kobolds.
Literally, I don't care. So
First. Also,
he doesn't care. I should say.
True.
It's a dog. I don't care. I knock it out.
Definitely a one punch man moment, and that will bring it to Elenora.
All right. I saw the
As
other.
This rogue has 2 blades out and is coming right at you.
Gee, I wonder what the monk can do.
Wonder what the monk can do. She puts away her cat o' nine tails, braces, and goes to just knock him out.
Okay.
So that is
The
a
one character made for punching.
yeah, that is a 19. So unarmed, that is critical. For me.
That will hit. So since that is a critical again, you will definitely knock out this creature. But the question is, I want to hear what it looks like when you knock out this kobold rushing at you.
He has his blades. He's rushing at me. She quickly jumps around him and grabs him by the back of the neck, pushes him to the ground, and just smacks him right in the face with her fist.
Just like a palm strike, just boom, like that. And there's a moment where they look dazedly at you, like blink twice, and then just fall on the ground. They are all unconscious.
Corvus scoops them up and puts them in Mimi.
I can see what
looks
you
like
mean.
you
Seems
get one,
quite
Grumsh.
useful.
Yeah, poor Grumsh didn't get to have a snack.
He would have eaten them. I'm glad they got knocked out.
Yeah, also, all of you just see this backpack just descend itself outwards and just swallow these 3 full-grown kobolds. I mean, they're small, but they're not that small. And it very easily swallows them all. And then it seems to, whether or not it could do that exactly before or not, or this is a power that it's gained over time, but it is essentially functioning somewhat like a bag of holding, in that it is able to retain. It does seem slightly larger, but it just kind of like back down and is now got the 3 kobolds inside of it. And y'all are like, oh, this is not a normal backpack.
No.
Corvus points to the warning he put on the wall and was like, I think the mold, the mold thing here may have been responsible for my friends going a little attack happy. Well, it was worth a shot. Shall we continue?
So I would like you, Corvus, I would like you to give me one more little old trappy trap sense.
Okie dokie.
Before we continue.
26.
Okay.
Sorry, 25. I'm smart.
25. Okay. So there's a moment when y'all engaged in this combat and you all, instantly went into combat mode. And you all like shuffled slightly forward. And of course they were coming from, ahead. And you all spread out a little bit. And then there's just a moment, Corvus, when you sense something is wrong. And
Immediately call out trap and step backwards.
okay. As you step back, I would like everyone to make a spot check. And I would like you all to tell me what roll you get. This is very important.
I'm not even going to bother.
Oh.
Well, just let me know what you get. It's fine. 24? Okay.
A 5.
5.
13.
13. Okay.
14 for Gronk.
14. Okay. Everyone except for Corvus. Gan, highs or lows?
Let's go low.
Okay. You will need to do something in a second. Elenora, highs or lows?
Hi.
Grumsh. Gronk of Grumsh, highs or low?
Low.
Low. So Gronk and Gan, I need both of you to make a very important reflex saving throw. Tell me what you did.
22 for Gronk.
Okay.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Wow. So you both succeed. So, there is a moment when you're in this combat, you focus on the combat. You don't focus on everything else. And what you all are now realizing is that there are sections on the floor. Now, they are mostly covered by dust and dirt and debris from however long old this tunnel is. But they're there. And you didn't really notice them before. And normally, Corvus, you would have detected this long before, but you were distracted by these guys coming running at you. And just by pure luck, they did not trigger any of them in their state. Thank God, Gan and Gronk of Grumsh, you both feel nothingness for a moment. Like you are taking a step and you feel nothingness. And then there is a electrical feeling of overwhelming pain. And none of you have ever experienced this before, but it is the sensation of when you teleport into a solid object.
Oh.
And but
nasty.
both of you pull your feet up. And what happens is these floors phase out of existence for a moment. And you are able, just from your sheer training and speed and skill, just yoink your legs up in time. As you pull up, there is a tremendous shock of pain that goes through each of you. You both... Oh, that's a very low roll. You both take 8 points of essentially crushing damage as you feel your legs twisted. And you pull your leg out, and you are fortunately relatively okay. It's basically like a hammer just hits you in the side of the leg, so it really hurts. As you all look forward, you realize that in the darkness, what you thought were like columns or outcroppings or maybe even fungal growth, these are skeletons of people who have fallen into the floor and been phased into the rock. And they are now one with the rock. And even though it has been a very long time, you get the impression that their ending was not pleasant as their bodies merged with the rock below. And you realize that either of you could have just lost your leg or more if the roll had been poorer.
Corvus turns to them both and was like, you really could have become part of this world.
Part of this world. And that's where we'll end. Chafing Armor.
We're really going to end on that terrible pun.
Oh, yeah. We're going to end on that fun. We're going to end on that
I
fun.
was absolutely floored by it.
Wow, I feel bad.
Floored by it. Yes. Yes, please. Yes, please. Thank you all so much for listening. We're going to have more as you go down into the descent into the demon webs. Dare, can you tell everyone where they can go to the Patreon to become a Patreon member of Chafing Armor?
Yes, please. We are ramping up the Patreon, so patreon.com/Chafing Armor.
Thank you. And we invite you to visit our socials. You can see us on YouTube, on X, on Instagram. We're happy to reach out to you. You could also reach out to me at mrcorley@gmail.com, mrcorley@gmail.com. If you just want to say hi, or you have a question about the campaign, we would love to hear from you. But you guys all take care.
Back at you.
You as well.
And we will be back with episode 5, Descent into the Demon Web, soon. Until then, we will roll with you soon.